So what you just saw right there is not an early teaser for the second season of Squid Game. It's in fact something that happened at the Sioux Falls Stampede hockey game on Saturday night in South Dakota. $5,000 in single dollar bills were scattered on the ground, and teachers from nearby schools were allowed to scramble around on their hands and knees like farm animals, desperately hoping to get enough money to pay for crayons and paper and maybe some 3-ring binders. $1 bills thrown on the ground, and that is how we will fund schools. And look, they got the money together, they're giving them the money. The ice skating rink that holds these games obviously is not principally responsible for the fact that our society has never actually cared much about education, certainly not public education, and doesn't care if our teachers live or die. They're not in charge of that. But with the system that we have, Francesca, it's not the positive image they might have thought it was going to be, not from my perspective.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know what show this is. Maybe it's a little Veep, but like there's something very like this was a better idea in theory. And now when we see teachers on their knees scrambling to shove $1 bills into their shirts, it looks terrible. This is egregious, and this is America. Welcome. Here we are. The military gets $789 billion a year, and teachers cannot pay for their school supplies and have to partake in a humiliating game to shove $1 bills into their shirts in order to do so. So yeah, if you want to know anything about America, it's that. And the only thing I can say for us is that we're good at combining sweet and salty things. That's literally the only really good thing about this country. That is pretty much it. And I like our informality sometimes. I find that endearing. That salty sweet things, but everything else is broken.
Is bad. Yeah.
Everything else is bad. Yosemite, okay. Everything else is bad.
Yeah. It's like it's the gamified version of, if you get sick, you better hope you can go viral on crowdfunding.
Yep.
And it's the stuff that like newspapers will they'll show some kid who sold lemonade so that he could afford to have books or something, and it's like that's good, I guess, but it's only good because we're terrible. Like it's good in the terrible, and that's what you saw right there. I know some people, by the way, I've seen have mocked the teachers. I think I love those teachers because they are continuing to be willing to do whatever is necessary for the betterment of their kids. They do it all the time. It's not generally on the ground at an ice skating rink, but they're continually abasing themselves and working long hours and not getting paid what they deserve. They're just continuing to give it their all. They shouldn't have to, that's the thing. You will never see the CEOs of Raytheon and Lockheed Martin like waiting for a bucket of bills to be thrown down, and that's the funding that they get for their projects and stuff like that. It's weird how we treat some people so much better than others.
Yeah, and that's the world I'm fighting for. That's the world I want to see, right? I want the day that weapons manufacturers have to hold bake sales. That's the America I want, and that teachers are paid adequately, and that they don't have to ask their friends and family. My brother's a teacher, and pretty much every year it's like, hey, is there folks who have extra binders, extra folders, any money for books, like that all helps. Any kind of because again, unless you are in a wealthy school, a lot of kids are coming to class without those things. Back to school sales. Well, not every kid is able to just go back to school and go to Office Depot and clean up. It's just, or be able to, a lot of schools can't have a book for each kid. They have to share books and things like that. And all of this, of course, is ripe for things like charter schools. Not all charter schools are bad, but a lot of charter schools are basically shell company scams. Hello, Betsy DeVos and her husband, her entire family. Everyone's trying to get rich off of privatizing schools, and devaluing teachers like this is one way to do it. I mean,
rather than just funding it.
Rather than just funding them.
the chat are saying, one said my aunt is a teacher. She used to buy coats and shoes for her students. I have my wife's sister. She's a teacher, and she had like you can set up wish lists where people can buy particular things that we promoted on social media. Like
we've just normalized this, right? It like, I think when we were growing up, that wasn't really the norm. But then it just like over the last 20 years, it's become,
it was probably still rough, but there was no social media with which to try to crowdfund this stuff.
Potentially.
But they weren't paid better. Yeah, it's devastating. And then like, last week they passed this nearly $800 billion budget that was like $25 billion than even they had been asking for. Just like, here's some extra subs and stuff.
Yep.
No one had to crawl around for it.
No, yeah, and then like once again,
maybe
like
the politicians looking for the donors, but
they had to lean over real far. No, but I will just say, this is why teacher strikes a couple of years ago when they were really popping off in red states actually are so important. This is why teachers unions matter, and Democrats are once again failing on that issue. So behind, and that they're behind when you have unions in red states who generally don't vote Democrat coming out and being on the forefront of a movement that then inspired the country for teachers to go on strike, use your power and demand more. And so we're gonna keep on seeing that, and I think teachers are we're gonna see a new wave, just like we're seeing these waves of unionization and striking.
I agree. It's kind of feel like you would end up with teachers having to like crawl around for bucks in a country where you choose Elon Musk as the person of the year. Like I feel like those are not, like they're not connected, but I feel like they're not disconnected either. Anyway,
but John, think about it. In the year of a pandemic, coming out of 2 years of teachers teaching virtually at home with kids who barely have internet connection, trying to keep them engaged, and you're putting Elon Musk on the cover, that's your hero?
Yep. Not the teachers. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.